All right, I got a quick little off-the-cuff short video for you guys. I was doing a little bit of research. No, I'm not doing any nefarious activities. I'm scratching a dog's ear. So anyone that's in the comments that wants to say, why did he open his video like that? Just scratching a dog's ear. Anyway, I was doing some research on a deep dive that I will be, should be able to shoot it and edit it tomorrow in its entirety, about false prophets. And that, I think I've already teased that before. But I came across something that was really interesting to me, and I just wanted to talk about it. It's a subject I've talked about a lot lately. It's having to do with Armageddon and their end times and all of that good stuff. But I found something kind of curious here. So if we go to 2023, let me put it over here. There is a article that I came across. For those of you that want to behind the scenes, oftentimes what I do to maximize my time is I'll listen to like an old Watchtower talk, a Gilead graduation, whatever the case might be, like on double speed, and then I'll be reading a Watchtower simultaneously. So I'm like in like hyperdrive focus mode. But this one was like so baffling. It really just like immediately stood out to me. So this was the June edition of the Watchtower study article 26, Keep Ready for Jehovah's Day. And it goes and talks about all of the normal things. But what I found curious was this paragraph here in paragraph 14. I guess we'll just read the whole thing. After God gives us his whole... Oh my lord, Goose just farted. Hold on. Goose, you need to get out of here. Holy moly. Jiminy Christmas. After God gives us his Holy Spirit, we must be careful that we do not put out the fire of the Spirit. God grants his Spirit only to those who maintain clean thinking and clean conduct. He would not continue to give us a spirit if we were to harbor unclean thoughts and act on them. To keep receiving Holy Spirit, we must also not treat prophecies with contempt. Prophecies here refer to messages produced by God's Holy Spirit, including those concerning Jehovah's Day and the urgency of our times. We do not push that day off in our mind, thinking that Armageddon will not happen in our lifetime. Instead, we speed it up, keeping it close in mind by maintaining right conduct and keeping busy with deeds of godly devotion every day. This is going to sound very familiar to anyone that was a Jehovah's Witness, that is a Jehovah's Witness. This is the normal way that they talk. Never would we want to think that it's not going to happen in our lifetime. They have consistently, for their entire history, as far as I can remember, always talked in this way. They've always been very adamant that the end is right around the corner. It's going to happen in our lifetime. Well, that's something I used to say, but don't quite say that anymore, but that'll be for tomorrow's video. So then, what I found curious, because it made me, think of it directly, and I know I've already covered this in a separate video, but just having these two side by side is pretty interesting. So here in paragraph 7, this is from the November 2025, so just 2 years later. The Watchtower article, it's talking about people that are getting older, maybe needing to accept some changing circumstances in their life, this, that, and the third. But here in paragraph 7, perhaps you are saddened by the possibility that the end of this system will not come in your lifetime. If you feel that way, what can help? Try to remember that Jehovah is patiently waiting to bring an end to this system. But his patience is not without purpose. His patience is allowing millions of people the time and opportunity to come to know him and serve him. So when you feel discouraged, try to think about how many people will benefit from Jehovah's patience. Might some of them be members of our own family? So 2 years. 2 years is all it takes for there to be a fundamental shift in how they talk about the end. Like, I mean, it would be up to your own opinion about what, like, the most important thing is to a particular Jehovah's Witnesses, and no doubt that's going to vary person to person. But surely, in everyone's Rushmore, everyone's top 5 list, the most, like, important, quintessential doctrines that they have is living with the idea or concept that Armageddon is just around the corner. Like, I think that would be pretty universally accepted as like a top fiver. Like, yes, being a Jehovah's Witness is like living with Armageddon as if it could come tomorrow. I think that's pretty standard operating procedure. So to see a shift in real time of just 2 years where they say we cannot, we're going to lose God's spirit if we don't, speed it up in our minds and live like it's there, because we would never want to think that it's not going to come in our lifetime. And then 2 years later saying, well, we got to be comfortable with accepting the possibility that it might not come in our lifetime. And we should be happy because that's going to allow other people to learn about Jehovah. I'm no statistician over here or anything like that. I can't have actuarial tables that I can just do the mental math for. But I would hazard a guess that 2 years isn't going to fundamentally break the math here, where it's like, oh, well, now that it's 2 years later, now we need to start saying that it's a possibility it's going to come in our people's lifetimes, because a sufficient amount of people are older now. Again, I'm not a statistician. I don't know. But just intuitively, I don't think that the 2 years is going to be the breaking point where you say, well, we could talk about it that way, and now we have to change the tone because of those 2 years. For me, I see it as shifting towards moving away from the whole idea, or trying to rebrand or rethink or reimagine Armageddon altogether. Again, I know that's very tinfoil hat. I know it's not a popular opinion, but it's something that just pops into my head every now and then. Anyway, I just found this to be pretty intriguing, that it would only take 2 years for them to go saying, we cannot, it would be bad if we were to pretend that the end isn't going to come in our lifetime, and then boom, say, well, we got to get comfortable with the idea that, it's a possibility that it might not come in here. So anyway, I just found it really interesting. That's about all I have to say. Not much more. I'm just in the middle of doing some research for tomorrow's video. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. So that's all I got for you. Catch you next time.